أعوذ بالله السميع العليم ولوجهه الكريم وسلطانه القديم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان ودعا بدعوتهم إلى يوم الدين. وقال الله تعالى في القرآن الكريم: قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. أما بعد، ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. نحييكم جميعا بتحية الإسلام ألا وهي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جميعا. So Alhamdulillah, today we are here to talk about a very important topic, and this topic is Zakat al-Fitr. What is Zakat al-Fitr, and when we should give out Zakat al-Fitr? Because this is the exact time and the best time to talk about Zakat al-Fitr, because we can't wait until we come to the Eid al-Fitr day and we start talking about Zakat al-Fitr, because it will be very late for people to get to know about it. Because it's very important also to give out Zakat al-Fitr even before going to masjid, and this also is a condition. So therefore it's very important to talk about it and let the Muslim know, and to remind one another on its importance and why we should give it out, and to whom we should give it out, and when to give it out. So first of all, Zakat is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have asked we the Muslim to give it out. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran in many different places, Allah is saying that wa aqimis salata wa atu zakat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jalla said, stand for prayer and give out zakat. So this zakat also includes the Zakat al-Fitr. Allah said, indeed he who purifies himself by giving zakat have indeed succeed. And also the scholars, they say this zakat also is talking about Zakat al-Fitr. This scholars say this zakat also is talking about Zakat al-Fitr, because we will know from the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar, Zakat al-Fitr also will purifies our fasting. Zakat al-Fitr purifies us. And here Allah said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Indeed, he who purifies himself by giving zakat is succeed. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. And he remembers the name of his Lord and he prays. So now, what is Zakat al-Fitr? If you want to know Zakat al-Fitr now, let's go to Sahih Bukhari and take the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. عن عبد الله ibn Umar رضي الله عنهما قال أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فرض زكاة الفطر ساعا من تمرة أو ساعا من سعير على العبد والحر وذكر وأنثى وصغير وكبير من المسلمين أمر بها أن تؤدى قبل خروج الناس إلى الصلاة. الله أكبر. So here Abdullah ibn Umar narrates that the Prophet ﷺ had enjoined them to give out Zakat al-Fitr. Farada, the word farada is that he make it compulsory to them. This is something that every Muslim should give out. He said, but how much? Abdullah ibn Umar went further to say, Prophet ﷺ have enjoined them to give out Zakat al-Fitr sa'an min tamratin aw sa'an min sa'ir. He told them to give out a sa'. It was a measurement that they use. It's just like a cup which they use for measurement. They said you have to give it in a dates or in grains. So this sa', first of all, we have to know what is sa' in our today's measurement. When our scholars, the ulamas, today they estimate a sa', and they say a sa' is approximately from 2.5 to 3 kilogram. So now, here now, Prophet ﷺ is saying that you have to give out Zakat al-Fitr as a charity for 2.5 kilogram or 3 kilogram of what? Of dates or grains. But the kind of food that you have to give, it will be a food that your community or that country uses. For example, during Prophet ﷺ time, in Saudi, people were used to what? Dates and other what? Sa'ir and a flour or other thing. But now, if you come to other countries, dates might not be available. So now what you have to give out? You have to give out any type of food that that country uses. For example, if you go to Indonesia, what they use most is what? Is rice. So therefore, it is good for you to give out Zakat al-Fitr in rice. You go to Gambia, the same. Maybe you go to other country, their stable food, the food that they use more is what? Is flour. Then therefore you have to give your Zakat al-Fitr in flour or in maize or in millet or anything you give out. But that be in food. Food is the sunnah, is something that's more preferable. But this course also they said you can give it out in the morning. You can give out in the morning. But also this morning you have to ask the scholars that are in your country, and they will do some calculation to tell you how much you should give per person, how much you should give in the amount of money. So we finish sa. What is the meaning of sa? We know that now sa means is approximately to 2.5 kilogram or 3 kilogram of what? Of food that you have to give out. So who should give Zakat al-Fitr? Is it the one who is it the only person who is fasting, or all Muslims should give it out? And who should give it out to those young people? Now Zakat al-Fitr all Muslims will give out Zakat al-Fitr, because Abdullah ibn Umar said, "Ala abdi wa hurri wa sakarin wa unsa wa saqirin wa kabirin min al-muslimina." So every Muslim who witnessed the month of Ramadan should give out Zakat al-Fitr. For example, if he said a slave, a free man, woman, small, big, young or old, all of them should give out Zakat al-Fitr. So meaning, even if you have a newly born baby who just born a 2 or 3 days in Ramadan, even that baby, you have to give Zakat al-Fitr on his or her behalf. So Zakat al-Fitr is compulsory upon all Muslims. Whether you fast or you don't fast, you have to give out Zakat al-Fitr. And this Zakat al-Fitr, Abdullah ibn Umar is saying that Prophet ﷺ have ordered them, Amara biha an tu'adda qabla khuruji nas ila salah. The Prophet ﷺ told them that they have to give out Zakat al-Fitr before the people go out to masjid. Before you go out to the musalla, the area where you are praying. Because we know that Zakat al-Fitr, what is the sunnah is that you should not pray in a masjid, you should pray it in an open field. But if you don't have an open field, then you can pray in a masjid. And inshallah we'll talk about Eid al-Fitr, some of the sunnah that we'll bring a particular topic about that one. But for now, this is the most important thing that we need to talk about. So every person in your family have to give out Zakat al-Fitr. So the one who is the head of the family and responsible for the family, he himself should see that he give out Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of all his family. He have to give Zakat al-Fitr on behalf of his son, children, and wife, and other things. He have to give Zakat al-Fitr on their behalf. And now, let's see another hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas on why we should give Zakat al-Fitr. And to whom should we give Zakat al-Fitr? And which time should we give it? And Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma qala anna Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam farada Zakat al-Fitr tu'ratan lis-sa'imi min al-laghwi war-rafasi wa tu'matan lil-masakin faman ada qabla salati fahiya zakatun maqbula wa man ada قبل ومن أدى بعد الصلاة فهي صدقة من صدقته. So Abdullah ibn Abbas here is saying that Prophet have enjoyed Zakat al-Fitr on them. He told the Sahabas and showed them that everyone have to give out Zakat al-Fitr. And there Abdullah ibn Abbas further continue and say, Tu'ratan lis-sa'imi min al-laghwi wal-rafasi. It is a mean of purification for the person who was fasting. From what? From foul speech, from other mistakes that he do. So during Ramadan, while you are fasting, you might fall onto some mistakes here and there. So when you give out Zakat al-Fitr, it is a means to purify your fast. All those mistakes that you have fall into, Zakat al-Fitr will purify it. Because if not this Zakat al-Fitr, then your fast might not be accepted. But with this, when you give out Zakat al-Fitr, it's a means of purifying your what? It's a means of purifying your mistakes that you do during Ramadan. And what other benefit? What is the other benefit? The other benefit is that وَتُؤْمَةً لِلْمَسَاكِينَ. And it is also a means to provide food for the poor. Because we know these poor people, since we say eat and it's a day for enjoyment, so how can someone enjoy without food? So therefore, since we want enjoyment and we want the Muslims to enjoy, then therefore it's very important for us also to give them food for them also to enjoy with their family. Because these people, they struggle and it's very hard for them to earn their living. So when we give them this food, they will be very happy and they will enjoy with the Muslims. And this will strengthen the relationship between the Muslim community. You want to enjoy and you want your children to enjoy during Eid al-Fitr. So therefore also you have to give it to them so they will enjoy. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما تحب لنفسه. So this is a hadith that none of you will attain iman, faith, unless what he loves for himself is what he loves for his brother. So therefore we love enjoyment. We want to enjoy in the Eid. So therefore we have to also make sure that we have to love seeing them also to enjoy with their family. So these are the two main reasons that is mentioned in the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, where he said, Farada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Zakat al-Fitr. Zakat al-Fitr tu'ratan lis-sa'imi min al-lahwi wal-rafasi wa tu'matan lil-masakina. So now let's come and see the second part of the hadith. Abdullah ibn Abbas first said, فَمَنْ أَدَاهَا قَبْلَ الصَّلَاةِ فَهُوَ زَكَاةُ مَقْبُولَةٌ. And anyone who gives out Zakat al-Fitr before going to Salat, before going to the Eid al-Fitr Salat, then his Zakat al-Fitr will be accepted as Zakat. It will be an acceptable Zakat. But وَمَنْ أَدَاهَا وَمَنْ تُؤَدَاهَا قَبْلَ بَعْدَ الصَّلَاةِ فَهِيَ صَدَقَةٌ مِنْ صَدَقَةِ. And anyone who just give out Zakat al-Fitr after just going to eat and come and give it, that person will not have a reward for someone who make a sadaqah of Zakat al-Fitr, but it will just be a charity. It will just be an ordinary charity. So this is something that we have to know. We have to see it to ourselves that before we go out to eat prayer, Eid al-Fitr prayer, we have to make sure that we already give out our Zakat al-Fitr. Because if we don't give it out, it will be just as a charity. But if we give it out before we go to Eid al-Fitr prayer, it will be a what? Zakat makhbula. It will be an acceptable zakat. So this is something that's very important. That's why I say we need to talk about this topic. Because we're going to wait till the day of Eid al-Fitr and we start talking about this and people will just say, oh, I don't give yet and I'm now in the fear. What should I do? So you will make people to regret. But it's very important to talk about it just today before we enter into Eid al-Fitr. And this Zakat al-Fitr also, you can give it out even while you are in Ramadan. You can give it out 2 or 3 days, a day or 2 before the Eid. For example, you can give it out on 28, 29 like that. you can give out your Zakat al-Fitr before even the Eid time. So these are the people that we have to give. Also, I said these are the people also that we have to give Zakat al-Fitr. So now there is also a hadith, but when I check this hadith, it was something that's like it's a daif hadith. There is a hadith that said, it's saying that your zakat will be between the heavens and the earth until you give out zakat al-fitr. As-sawmu mu'allaqu bayna as-sama'i wal ard hatta tu'adda zakat al-fitr. But this hadith also is somehow daif, but there are other hadiths that support this hadith. So therefore we have to try our best to give our zakat al-fitr. This is something that's very important. So I think now I'll just summarize it finally and make it to be very clear now. First of all, what is zakat al-fitr? We say zakat al-fitr, we say it is a food or a cash that Muslims give out to the poor in order to purify their sawm, their fasting, in order any mistake that they have done during the month of Ramadan, when they give out zakat al-fitr also will purify those mistakes. And when we say the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar is saying that zakat al-fitr is something that's compulsory, that's fard, because he said farada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam zakat al-fitr sa'an min tamratin aw sa'an min sa'ir. So here he's saying that Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have enjoyed them, I will make it compulsory for them to give out zakat al-fitr with what? With a sa'. And we told you that sa' is, if we take it to our measurement, our today's measurement is that it's like 2.5 to 3 kilogram. So therefore we have to give out zakat al-fitr of any type of food that your country use or your community use, and the measurement should be 2.5 to 3 kilogram, because it will be sa'an min tamratin or sa'an min sa'ir. But here, any type of food that your country use, you have to give it. If your country use rice, you give it on behalf of rice. If your country uses dates, you have to give it. You have to give zakat al-fitr for dates. If your country use flour, you have to give it. If your country use any other cereals, you have to give it in that measurement, and this will be 2.5 kilogram. And also, who should give zakat al-fitr? Every person, every member of the Muslim community should give out zakat al-fitr. Whether you fast or you do not fast, you have to give out zakat al-fitr. Because Abdullah ibn Umar is saying that his hadith continue. He said, al-abdi wa hurri wa thakarin wa unsa wa saqirin wa kabir min al-muslimina. So, while you are a free man, while you are a slave, man, woman, old or young, of the Muslims will give out zakat al-fitr. And who should give out zakat al-fitr on behalf of the youngs is the person who is responsible for his family. The one who provides and take care of the family should give out zakat al-fitr on behalf of these people, these young people, and the old people who can give out. And Abdullah ibn Umar further continue and said, وَأَمَرَ بِهَا أَن تُؤَدَّى قَبْلَ خُرُوجِ النَّاسِ إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ. And zakat al-fitr also, you have to give zakat al-fitr before you go to Eid al-Fitr. You have to give zakat al-fitr before you go to Eid al-Fitr. You are also given the permission to give out zakat al-fitr before even Eid al-Fitr. Like you can give it a day or two while you are in Ramadan. For example, when you are in the 28 days of Ramadan, you can give out zakat al-fitr, or 29 you can give out zakat al-fitr. And if we study the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, we will know why it's very important to give out zakat al-fitr before you go to Eid al-Fitr. Because Abdullah ibn Abbas said, farada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam zakat al-fitr tu'ratan lis-sa'il min al-laghwi war-rafasi wa tu'matan lil-masakina faman ada qabla as-salati fahiya zakatu makhbula. ومن أدى بعد ومن تؤدى بعد salat فهي صدقة من صدقته. So here why we should give Zakat al-Fitr before Eid al-Fitr is that فمن تؤدى قبل الصلاة فهي صدقة مقبولة. So when you give it out before going to Eid prayer, it will be an acceptable zakat. It will be an acceptable zakat and you will have the full reward. But ومن تؤدى بعد الصلاة فهي صدقة من صدقته. But when you give it out when you already pray Eid al-Fitr, then it will not be a sadaqah, it will not be a zakat, but it will be a sadaqah. It will be a ordinary charity. So this is why you have to give Zakat al-Fitr before going to Eid al-Fitr. So now, why do we need to give out Zakat al-Fitr? Why do we need to give it out? Even if we are very careful and mindful of the hadith of Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, why? He said, Farad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam Zakat al-Fitr, he said, Tu'ratan lis-sa'imi min al-laghwi wal-rafasi. It is a means of purification of foul speech and other mistake that you do during the month of Ramadan. For example, during the month of Ramadan, you might hear something that you should not hear, that's haram. You might look something that's haram. You might speak something that's haram. All those mistakes that you have fallen, when you give Zakat al-Fitr, it will remove all those mistakes. It's a means of purification. And that's first one. The second one is what? The second one is that it's a means of providing food for the poor. وَتُعْمَةً لِلْمَسَاكِينَ. And it is a food for those that are poor. Because those that are poor, they don't have food to eat, and therefore they need someone to give them food. And we know that we Muslims know that in Eid day is a day of celebration. That's why we say Eid. Eid means celebration. So therefore, how can someone celebrate while he don't have food? So therefore, for them also to celebrate, we have to try also to give them something that will make them happy. Because on Eid we want to be happy. We want to see our children and everyone be happy. So what about our brothers also in Islam? And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet said, "La yu'minu ahadukum hatta yuhibba li akhihi ma tuhibbu li nafsi." None of you will truly attain iman unless what he wishes for himself, he have to wish it for his brother. So we want to be happy on that day and see our children. We have to wish that for our Muslim brothers. And how can we wish them? We can wish it to them not by only speaking, but we have to try and do something. And that is what? Giving them food that will make them happy. So these are the two reasons, and I can say other reason is that is something that's been commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah said, and Allah promised that those who give our zakat, those are the ones who indeed succeed. قَدْ أَفْلَهَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ إِسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. Indeed, he who purifies himself by giving zakat, by giving charity, that person have indeed succeeded. وَذَكَرَ إِسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. He remembered the name of his Lord and he prayed. So this is why we need to give out Zakat al-Fitr. And this is why also we have to give our Zakat al-Fitr before going to Eid al-Fitr. There is another hadith I see, but the hadith when I checked, it was something that's daif. Even Imam Albani did not mention it in his authenticity of hadith. But the hadith also, it have other hadiths that support it. And the hadith is, your fast, your song will not reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It will be between the heaven and the earth, unless you give our Zakat al-Fitr. But this hadith is daif. He said, as-sawmu mu'allaqu bayna as-sama'i wal-ard hatta tu'adda Zakat al-Fitr. But this hadith is daif. Yeah, but as we can see, that's the main purpose of giving Zakat al-Fitr, to purify so that Allah will accept your sound. So it's very important. Ikhwan fillah, I would like to stop here. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.